Have you ever wondered how a business is divided in a California divorce case? I'm Gerald Maggio, Southern California divorce and family law attorney, and in this video I'm going to explain the issues involved with the dividing a business in a California divorce case. Dividing businesses in a California divorce case can be a complex one because it's important to understand that you have to determine a valuation of the business. You need to determine how the assets and obligations of the business are going to be addressed. Who is going to be assuming the business? Does one party want to be bought out of the business while the other party keeps it, or is the business going to be sold? So here is a general overview of the process of dividing a business in a California divorce case. Number one, identification and valuation of the business. Both parties need to identify the businesses that will need to be divided in the divorce case and then generally agree on either a joint forensic accountant that will work on behalf of both parties to determine what the value of the business is, or each party will need to get their own forensic accountant that they'll have to pay for themselves, subject to payment from the other spouse potentially. Number two, community versus separate property. California is a community property state, and that means that any assets or obligations of the marriage generally need to be equally divided. However, there can be considerations where a business perhaps has been started prior to marriage, and so it has a separate property component versus a community component that started happening once the party's married, or perhaps a spouse inherited or received a business as a gift. Number three, buyout or sale of the business. I've kind of hit on this earlier, and what I mean by that is you need to figure out the value of the businesses in order to determine, does one party want to buy out the other and continue to run the business, or is the business simply worth too much that it's not going to be possible for that spouse to want to buy out the other party, and perhaps the business is going to need to be sold, and those proceeds then will be equally split between the parties. Number four, negotiation and settlement. It's not 100% necessary that you have to do a forensic accounting to determine value. You can come up to a value of the business on your own, basically coming up with some reasonable number that you both believe the business might be worth without spending tens of thousands of dollars to do a forensic accounting. So that certainly happens. I've seen that on cases that I've handled, that the parties just don't want to go through that process and they come up with what they both believe and are satisfied after basically disclosure of financial information that lets them make that decision. Number five, court intervention. When the party cannot come to a resolution, whether that's just between themselves on these issues or they cannot agree on what their forensic says, particularly if they're each having competing forensic accountants, that's when court intervention comes into place, and sometimes there can be a trial where both forensic accountant experts for the parties testify, and the court will then have to determine which forensic accounting is the proper one, which makes more sense that the court should go by, and that's what the court is there for. Number six, tax considerations. There certainly can be tax implications for selling or dividing a business, and it's important to consult with a tax professional before you make a final decision on how you're going to divide the business or what you're going to do regarding that. And that should be something probably both spouses should do together so that they have the best picture of what the implications are tax-wise before they make any decision one way or another. Number seven, business operations during divorce. Just because you're going through a divorce doesn't mean that the business stops operating. It's crucial that the business continue to be operating while you're going through the process, while you're determining how we're going to address the division of the business in the case. So it's important that the parties continue to work together and try to keep what's presumably a successful business going. Number eight, finalizing the divorce agreement. Once you've determined whether you're going to use a forensic accountant or whether you're going to come to agreement on your own, it's necessary to address this in your final divorce agreement and as part of your final divorce judgment that says, how are you dividing up the business? How are you dividing up other assets like a house, cars, retirement accounts, what have you. All those things need to be considered and factored in. It's important to have a family law attorney to help you navigate through these type of issues, to understand your rights, to make a determination whether you want to proceed with a forensic accounting expert or you want to go handle your case in a different way that doesn't necessarily involve a forensic accountant. If you or somebody you know is going through a divorce, feel free to have them contact us for a free consultation where we can go through your case and determine what the next steps are and determine if you're ready to proceed with your family law case. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel at the end of this video for more helpful information about divorce and family law issues. See you next time.